Hi everybody, and welcome back to another check-in video. I decided it was a really good thing that I started to do these on a weekly basis because I did not get to do a specific video all week long. So I'm really happy that I at least do these check-in videos to give you some life updates and let you know things that have piqued my interest, talk about pens I'm using, stationery I've picked up, books I'm reading, and all that fun stuff. I just want to start by saying thank you to everybody who left me such kind messages on my last video. We did have my father-in-law's services on Friday. My husband and his brother kind of tag teamed and they did just the most beautiful eulogy. I think they captured his humor and who he was as a person so wonderfully. And even though that was a sad occasion, it was really nice to be together with my entire family. My son Anthony came in from New Jersey. Sorry, there's like something floating around in the air, with his girlfriend Amanda, and then Rocco and Angelina were here. We went out to Western Mass. I don't know how we coordinated that everybody wanted to do this, but we usually go to Yankee Candle. It's like this campus out in South Deerfield, Mass. There's a restaurant attached to it. There's decorations, there's Christmas stuff, there's Halloween things, in addition to all the candles. And we all got together for a day trip out to Western Mass, and we had a really good time. And Jay and I stopped at a couple bookstores on the way, so we'll talk about that at the end. But overall, it was just nice to be around family, and I just wanted to extend my sincere gratitude for all of the beautiful comments that people left. I really appreciate it. So Labor Day was yesterday, and we are just getting back into the swing of things. One of the announcements that I wanted to make is that tomorrow, I hope I get this posted tonight. Tomorrow, Tom Otto from Goldspot Pens will be joining Vanessa and I on my Juicy Broads live channel, and we are going to be discussing back to school stationery, which I think is going to be really fun. So at the beginning of all the Juicy Broad episodes, we share like a pen in a bag or a pen in a notebook. We're all going to be sharing some of our favorite back to school items and give some suggestions if you have students in your life, or if you are like me and still get excited in the fall to buy back to school supplies. If you need a reason to get some stationery or pens, we've got you covered. So we're going to discuss that in tomorrow's episode with Tom. That's going to be a lot of fun. We will be discussing again, I keep wanting to talk about this because I feel like summer is fleeting. This was a pen that Goldspot gifted to me, and this is the Edison Newark. I've been using it so much. It's a stub nib. It's a fantastic writer. I'm using it as much as I possibly can because the second I get into fall mode, I know when I film my currently inked video, it's going to be a lot of fall pens. So I'm using this on the daily. Pretty soon it's going to be all browns and pumpkin colors and all that stuff. This is a Goldspot exclusive, and it's my first Edison pen, so that's really wonderful. I've been really enjoying my Aurora Volterra as well. I just changed the ink on that. I'll share the ink that I put in it in my currently inked video. I have one new pen to talk about this week. I believe this is the Asvine V200. And it's a vacuum filling system for this pen. And it's also a demonstrator. And where is it? I've been using it. I can't find it. The reason I decided to get this pen is because when I was at Stationery Fest, I went to CY's table. CY is Tokyo Inkling, the podcast. He also does the Techo nib grind for Esterbrook. He lives in Japan and he has started to make his own pens. And I tried out his pen and it was so amazing. And it was titanium. It was a demonstrator titanium pen. It wrote so beautifully. I was like in love. It comes with a hefty price tag of $600. Now, I'm not saying it's not totally worth that. I just was not in the budget for that type of a pen, but I loved the look of it, and I don't have any pens made with titanium. So I remembered that a video had popped up about the Asvine pens. This is a company that is out of China, and people have really good things to say about this brand. You guys know my love for Hongdian. I haven't been loving the brand Jinhao quite as much as I used to, but I did just ink up this 9019 with this honking big nib. It's very girthy, but it's got this crazy ink capacity converter that twists on, and it's really nice. And I've been looking at demonstrator pens. When I was at Stationery Fest, I meant to give a test run to the Nagasawa Platinum demonstrator with the rose gold trim, and I didn't. And now Sailor is having the Don't Miss the Boat sale where there's 40% off a bunch of Sailor pens, and there's a 1911 that is a clear demonstrator. And I've also been intrigued by the Custom 823 that is also a demonstrator, but that has a lot of black accents on it, so it's not my favorite. So I said, Lori, stop thinking about things that you don't have and ink up the demonstrator pen that you do have. So I inked this up with Kurosame, and it's been a really nice combo. I do think that this is just too big of a pen for me for like everyday use, but I have to say this is like a $30 pen, if that. And it's really nice. I like the X159 by Jinhao a little bit better. That's more in line with the size of my Mont Blanc 149. This is a little bit bigger, but I just wanted to play with this. So I've been in demonstrator mode is what I'm trying to say. So I ordered this Asvine pen because I had heard a lot about this company. I've watched a lot of videos on the quality of their stuff. Doodlebug does a lot of stuff where he does reviews for them. And so I decided to get this. I had a $50 Amazon gift card that was clearly burning a hole in my pocket. This was $47. It is MIA. It is downstairs somewhere. So I will do a little B-roll to show you how beautiful this pen is. The ink that I filled that pen with is Sun Moon Lake Black Tea by Lennon Toolbar. This is actually Daisy's favorite ink from Yoseka Stationery, or at least it was at one point. She mentioned it in one of her videos. And so I picked it up and I really do love it. And it looks beautiful. It's a great fall color. I'm really enjoying this demonstrator pen. It's a little heavier than most pens because of the titanium, but the quality of the build is absolutely beautiful for the money. And I feel like it's a nice pen to hold me over. I think I may have gotten this in a fine nib. Sometimes with my less expensive pens, I like to get pens that are good for journaling on the go, things that I'm not going to worry too much about as far as price goes, so I can toss it in my bag and go. And I think a fine nib works really well inside notebooks like Sterling Ink, if I have a passport notebook with me from Traveler's Company or something like that. So I ended up getting it in a fine nib, and I did use some micro mesh on it. Just a little bit. It actually was great, but this micro mesh I purchased from Goulet Pens, the little corner of it that I use. And sometimes I'll just go over a steel nib just to soften it up a little bit and get it used to the way that I write, and it writes beautifully. I do want to do a video on all of my demonstrator pens because that kind of sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole as I've been looking at the platinum with the rose gold from Nagasawa, and then the Sailor one. I have all of my TWSBIs that are demonstrators, and then now the Asvine, the Jinhao that I just shared with you. I had bought these pens for my girlfriends when we went away on a girls' weekend, and I ended up with 2 of them. So I also have this blue version, which is also a demonstrator. They're actually really great writers for what you pay, and the ink capacity is so great. Like I said, I just wish they weren't quite so girthy because I like the nibs and I love the ink capacity. I love the look of them. I love the price. But I'm going to do an upcoming video and talk about all my demonstrator pens. I think that will be really fun. And we will just have to wait and see if I cave on one of the other demonstrator pens that I mentioned. Let me know in the comments what your favorite demonstrator is. That's the only pen that I purchased since we last talked, but I did end up getting the plotter in. I haven't done a full video on this yet because I really want to get to know it a little bit, but I will be filming an unboxing and show some of the items that I got to go in it, but I just love how thin this is. I'm planning on using this as like a project manager for my home and keep some notes in here for the renovation that we have coming up. What I love about this specifically is that you only have these tiny little rings as opposed to the giant rings of most ring planners. I did put out a survey on Instagram and asked people what they love most about their plotters. That was one of the most common things, was that it was small enough so you could take it with you. It's not gonna weigh you down. Like if I compare this plotter to my Sterling Ink, it's, you know, so much thicker. This is like my everyday carry. This is my Louis Vuitton that never leaves my house because it is so thick. And I have been keeping some ink samples in here, but really this is more like a resource book for me. I keep all my contacts in there. I write down all of my brand deals with sponsors who I work with for my other channel. So that really doesn't leave the house. But this is something that is portable enough that I can take it with me on the go, and it's not going to be too weighed down. So stay tuned for more reviews on this. My one question in getting the A5 was, should I have gone with the Bible size, which I think is their most popular size. My common planner is B6, so it's more that smaller size. And I didn't want to go to the mini size. And I actually do like writing in an A5 notebook. That's what I always use for my morning pages. So I thought that was the most natural fit. But since I was getting it for portability, I didn't know if I would have been better off with the size down. So let me know your thoughts on that. Some other people also commented that they love that it lies flat when you open it. And this was one of the things that I was excited about, these project manager sheets that allow you to enclose like a couple sheets from one topic, or maybe things that you want to keep private. These are folders that you pop in and you put a certain amount of sheets in for a particular project. They're all different colors. It's almost like picturing like a 5-subject notebook. And then this is like your little projects within the subjects that you're keeping in your notebook. So I'm really excited about that. I'll do a full review on it in a few weeks once I get to know it a little bit better and move in. Oh, another thing that I want to talk about. I like these videos because I can be totally ADD and scattery, and we can talk about lots of things. 30 inks in 30 days. It's September. I've been noticing a lot of people talking about 30 inks in 30 days. And even though today is September 3rd, and I haven't even completed one day yet, I want to do this. I want to take a day and draw a bunch of stuff. The problem with me is I always want to do something more complicated than I need to. And what I want to do for 30 inks, 30 days is draw pictures of my pens. Draw the picture of the pen that has the ink inside of it. So this is like the start. You can't even see. I just outlined my Aurora pen in pencil. And then I want to go back with the Aurora pen and draw the pen using the ink that's inside of the pen, and do that every day for 30 days. Maybe I'll do every other day. I'll do a pen and then just a basic ink, and then a pen and a basic ink. And that will be like the 15 pens that I have inked up for currently inked. I could do that. That could be fun. I ended up taking a bunch of A5 notebook pages from my Tomori River. They're not notebook pages. They're just loose leaf. And I cut them in half so that they would fit this A6 binder. And I thought that I would do one picture per page in 30 inks, 30 days. But I screwed up when I was punching the holes. I have this hole puncher that sorry, the lighting is coming into my face. I need to lean back a little bit. So I can adjust this on the back to A6, A5, personal, but I screwed up on the first few. So then I just trimmed the bottom off and made it look like a wave for some of these sheets. And then I kind of liked the way that it looked. It looked kind of artsy, but I made my own sheets by cutting an A5 sheet in half. And then it fit perfectly in this A6 notebook from Mulberry. So I'm going to try to do some drawings for 30 inks, 30 days. I like that idea of doing every other day. So then it's not so complicated that I'm trying to draw the pens. In a previous video, I talked about wanting to draw all of my pens like as a long-term project, and I haven't gotten to that yet. So I thought this would be kind of a fun way to jumpstart that. And then I can transfer the pictures into the notebook where I'm keeping my drawings of my pens, which is in an Archer and Olive notebook that has a big fountain pen on the front of it that I bought several months ago. We'll see how that goes. Let me know if you're doing 30 inks, 30 days, if you do something creative with it, if you keep it in a certain notebook, or if you just keep it on loose sheets. I'm always fascinated by it. Speaking of inks, when I got this order in, I ended up getting Pride and Prejudice ink from Waringle when I ordered my plotter stuff from Atlas. And it is a really bright ink. And I put it in my TWSBI cream, which is an odd choice for me because this is like a neutral color. So typically I would put browns and tans and golds and things like this. So this is a high contrast color, but it's really pretty. So of course I sampled it in my ink journal here, and it's really bright. Here it is right here on the bottom. And it has some sheening in it. Can you see the sheen? And then over here is the column where I did the writing. So I wrote. I'm always so impulsive when a new ink or pen arrives. This color is so very bold, much like Lizzie Bennett from Pride and Prejudice. The sheening properties are fun. Definitely bought this for the name above all else, but this pairing is unexpectedly nice. I would typically go for a neutral ink in this pen. This ink pen combo shows great contrast. The last ink was pretty dry too, but not this. Oh, the last ink that was in here, I think it was a Ferris wheel press ink. So this is really fun. So this is Pride and Prejudice. Somebody recommended the Diatramentis ink. It's a document ink, and it's in kind of like an evergreen, and it's just called Jane Austen. So that's in my cart, but I haven't ordered that yet. However, when I put my Hobonichi order in, which we can talk about that too, there was a Waringal ink called Jane Eyre, and that's the other book that I've been reading, but we've been listening to that book, as I mentioned last week. So now I'm going to have the Jane Eyre. I'm going to have my Jane Austen ink from Mont Blanc, which kicked all this craziness off, my Pride and Prejudice ink, and then I'm going to get the Diatramentis ink eventually from Goulet Pens. They're the only store that I've seen that has it. Thanks to Goulet for carrying that. Talk about Hobonichi in a couple minutes. I just want to show you some new books that I picked up. This is going to be really quick. I know most people aren't here to talk about books. So when we went off to Yankee Candle, we stopped at a store called Roundabout Books in Greenfield, and it was just beautiful. I guess they've been in business for 12 years, but they're in this new location as of November of 2023. 2 floors. They have antique books. It was like an old renovated barn is what it felt like, and it was just so beautiful. My husband and I had left for Yankee Candle before my kids, so we had about a half-hour window, so we didn't have too much time to stay in there. So I picked up Northanger Abbey. And I have not really been interested in getting paperback versions of any of the Jane Austen books, but this was kind of cool. It was in such great condition. I believe this is a version from the 1960s. Yes, New American Library, first printing October of 1965. I just thought this was a cool book. Its heroine is Catherine Morland, the mistakenly invited guest at an isolated and quite mysterious country manor. There, the charming young husband seeker falls in love with the young man of the house and becomes willing prey to dark fancies bred in her by the fashionable Gothic horror novels of the day. So I just thought this would be a great fall read. So once I'm done with Persuasion, I'm going to read Northanger Abbey. I'm excited about that. After Yankee Candle, we Googled bookstores near us because we were way out in Western Mass, and this bookstore came up. It's called the Book Mill in Montauk, Mass. This little bookmark that I got from there. Another incredibly cool spot. It was right near like a little waterfall, and there's a restaurant right in this little plaza. There's an art gallery. It was so cool. And this book is a portrait of Jane Austen written by David Cecil. And inside is a stamp. It says, bought at Jane Austen's house, Chawton, Hampshire. So this was purchased in London at Jane Austen's house, which I have to visit someday. Someone said, I would unhesitatingly pronounce the book to be the best portrait of herself in her work that exists. He has combined biography, criticism, and social history in this delightful narrative. So I'm excited to read this. And this is more about Jane Austen, where she lived, her early years, her writing. So I just think that's a nice companion book. And both of these were $6.95, much cheaper than pens that I buy. Okay, last up, let's talk about Hobonichi. In my last video, I was saying how I just was not really excited about anything in the Hobonichi lineup. And I felt bad saying that because there were so many fun and interesting things. Oh, another book that we picked up at the Roundabout Bookstore was Spy Family. So Spy Family is a manga series or an anime series collaborating with Hobonichi this year. So many of us are familiar with the One Piece collaboration. This is the 3rd year they've done One Piece. This is the 1st year they've done Spy Family. And to be honest, the colors of the Spy Family stuff, it's kind of like a minty green, like a little dusky though. It's not like pastel mint, and gold and black. I love the color combos and the vibe of that stuff. I'm just not familiar with the series. So my husband said, just buy it because he would read it. He's into comic books. And then my son, Rocco, he's read One Piece, and there's another anime series that he's into. So we got just the first book of Spy Family because I thought it would just be fun to get a little bit of knowledge about what is exciting about that. I ended up getting two things. One was the Weeks, and it was in the red leather cover. I ended up getting the olive green leather last year, and I really liked it. And when I looked at all the covers, there wasn't anything that really spoke to me. The Hobonichi site was crashing. I was going to get my stuff from the Hobonichi site so I could get their little gifts with purchase. And because it was so much less expensive to go through their site, that I thought even with shipping, it would still cost less money than getting it here in the States. But their site was crashing for like an hour and a half. I watched the Yoseka launch party for about 45 minutes. Jay had fallen asleep, so I was just up watching the launch party. And then at 10 o'clock, I went onto the Hobonichi site and it just kept crashing. It kept refreshing. I kept going back. It was kicking things out of my cart. I put them back in. What I ended up getting was the A6 5-year diary that I talked about last week. I did end up getting that. Thank you to my friend Candace from Inks and Anchors, because she talked about how she had a 5-year in the A5 size. I believe she took this year off, but she's starting up again next year in an A6 size. So I said to her, because I tend to like A5 sizes, why are you moving into the A6? I'm curious. Because somebody had said if you get the A5 size, Candace said this, you don't have to worry about the writing in the bottom right side. If you watched my video last week, I was talking about that being a concern. That's one of my issues with Hobonichi, is all of the quotes that take up space where I could be writing. And that's why I tend to favor a lot of Sterling Inks designs, because they're just so much cleaner to me. I love the community around Hobonichi, and they are like the pioneers with all of these style notebooks. So what Candace said about the A5 was that it just became too heavy and bulky to carry around with her all the time. And it was something that you're supposed to write in daily, so you bring it with you on the go. So she thought that the A6 size would just be a little bit more compact and also less pressure to fill up that space. You can just jot down a thought for the day or memory for the day. So that's what I decided to go with. I did not get any covers. I just bought the red leather Weeks for 2025, and I got the 5-year diary. So we'll see how both of those go. I do think that I'm going to do the Weeks for a wellness journey. I've been better about it since I talked about it. I have to keep up with that. The last thing that I want to share with you is a stationery set that I got when Vanessa was out here. Before we went to Stationery Fest, we went to a bookstore in Brookline. Oh my gosh, the lighting in my face is so bad. So when I was at the Dutch Pen Show, there was a table set up by the company Sharkcraft. They do these incredible notebook covers. I have this in a passport size and in this A5 size, and it's this adorable mushroom art. And all of the little mushroom white detail is hand painted. And then on the inside, they have these little mushroom notebooks, 2 different styles that are fantastic. I was so excited to pair this with my Pelican M600 with the red and white and gold. It looks so beautiful. I brought it over to show you, but I have so many things on my table now, I can't find it. So when I was with Vanessa at the Brookline bookstore, which was next door to the Boston General store, which is why we went to Brookline. Vanessa wanted to see Boston General. I got this stationery at the Brookline store, and look at how adorable this is. And it's the red mushroom vibe. There are note cards in this size. I think they're all different. I think they're so cute. Are these different? Yeah. So adorable. Then they had like little stickers in this little parchment paper envelope. It's just so well done. So you can seal your envelopes. There's more here. They're so cute. All these little stickers. More note cards in larger sizes. I thought it was so adorable. I picked this up about a month ago and planned on doing a video with it, and I haven't, so I figured I would share it here. Isn't it hard to believe that Stationery Fest was almost a month ago? I think that Vanessa landed on August 4th or 5th, and then we had a couple days in Boston, and then Stationery Fest was August 7th. And today is September 2nd or 3rd, which is just crazy. When we went to the Boston General store, I ended up getting this Tom Studio ink called Mallard. And this is in one of my Mont Blanc 149, the extra fine that I had a custom grind done with JJ Lax. Josh did a custom grind, and it's just such a beautiful combo. This ink looks really nice in there. And then I got this tiny little clipboard. I've been wanting a clipboard for Instagram. You know, when I do writing samples, to just use a tiny clipboard with loose leaf paper. So Vanessa had grabbed this and I'm like, oh, I need one of those. It's like an old school clipboard that I will use. That is everything. The sun is in my eyes. I'm sorry that it was so scattery today, but I really do enjoy these catch-up videos. I hope you do as well. Be sure to join us tomorrow for the Juicy Broads at 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be discussing all of our back to school stuff. I will have more updates coming on my planner stuff as it takes shape. It's coming into focus now that I did my Hobonichi order, got my plotter in. The B6 notebook that I get from Sterling Ink is not available until her launch on September 15th. So I haven't gotten that yet. So I will do an unboxing for my plotter with you and give you some details on how I plan to use that as I use it a little bit and get to know it better. I'm going to do my Esterbrook video, and I'm now adding the demonstrator pen video to that lineup as well. And a currently inked. I have a lot of work to do, but now that it's back to school season and things are calming down a little bit, I think I will have more time to be shooting videos for you. So thank you guys for joining me on another check-in video. Let me know if you've purchased anything fun lately, or if you're rediscovering an old pen, or if you found some new ink that has inspired you to pick up your fountain pens again. If you've read anything fun, I do appreciate all of your feedback and comments. And again, sorry for the lighting. Hopefully I had enough to show you that you weren't always focusing on me. You could see some of the fun stuff. Oh, and let me know if you read Northanger Abbey and if it really is kind of mysterious. Spooky season is almost upon us, so I want to get all the comfy fall spooky vibes going that we can. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'll be back real soon with a new video for you. Thanks everybody. Take care.